And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hot Tag. We are live, Lower East Side of Manhattan at the Skinny Bar and Lounge. So I'd like to thank them for hosting us once again. AJ Pan here, and I'd like to welcome to the Hot Tag one of the gentlemen behind H2H, the Don himself, Peter Rosado.
AJ, thanks a lot. You know, at H2H, we're always looking for ways to better our platform, and what way to better our platform? By bettering your platform with a show such as the Hot Tag, a great show. We're lucky to have you on H2H.
Thank you for inviting us into your family. Also with us, almost always, Uncle Steven.
Yes, and I don't need no introduction, guys. I'm here, and I'm very proud to be a new partner with H2H. Guys, definitely check them out. We're here to bring you some great content, and we should just dive right into it.
Well, let's give him a welcome to the Hot
Yes,
Tag.
that's
I've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting for this one.
That's where I was going into.
Okay.
This was good.
Ready?
Yes, 3, 2, 1, guys.
Hot
There
Tag.
we go.
There we go.
But if we're going to talk about partnerships, okay, one of the biggest things we have to talk about is the possibly upcoming TNA GFW partnership. I think we're planning on getting into that in more into detail later, but that's big news in the wrestling world. But I know Steven was talking earlier about probably the bigger news and the biggest news coming out of TNA Impact Wrestling this week.
EC3, brand new champion, finally putting him on top where he belongs. I feel like he's been so close to that cusp for years and has improved day in and day out, and I'm very happy to see him a fresh face. There's something that TNA has, in my opinion, has always been an issue with TNA, is not relying on a newer, fresh face, and they finally chose it, and I think it's a great time, especially with their now new rise in Destination America.
Yeah, it's been, you've always had Sting, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy is, as always the top dogs, for at least for the last couple of years. EC3 is a great breath of fresh air. He's been one of the most, rejuvenated characters, I think, in professional wrestling, coming from being Derek Bateman in the WWE. One of the guys they dropped the ball on.
Oh, big
And
time.
he is a TNA guy.
But here's the funny thing. I want to touch on that, and I know a lot of people, especially the TNA haters out there, are going to talk about, it's another ex-WWE guy that they're putting a title on. You know what? At the end of the day, this was the same formula WCW used. This was the same formula that a lot of federations use to propel yourself into the spotlight. You get the big names that are coming from other feds, and you use them to prop yourself up as you build your own stars. And Derek Bateman, EC3 may have been a WWE guy, but he's come in. This character, this Ethan Carter III character, is original, it's fresh, it's good. I'm loving it, and winning the title from Kurt Angle, one hell of a run.
I completely agree. You couldn't have said it any better than me saying it personally. So I applaud that as I stumble upon my words like a joke. But in any case, I gotta say, leading into things that are proven in the wrestling world, history repeats itself. You always want to use what's been, working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Talk about invasion angles. I think there's something brewing, and we know all too well in the wrestling world about invasions, and I think there's one coming along. Tell us about it.
Well, again, this goes into that GFW thing that we're going to talk about a bit more later. But there's been a lot of releases in TNA recently. Obviously, Austin Aries' contract has run up. He hasn't re-signed a new contract. Bobby Roode apparently is now working for GFW, Global Force Wrestling, Jeff Jarrett's new promotion. James Storm is released from TNA and apparently going to go work for them also. And Magnus, also the newly minted father. Once again, I know it's been a few months, but congratulations to Magnus and Mickie James on the baby boy. Magnus getting released, and Magnus a former TNA World Heavyweight Champion at that. You're looking at this, James Storm, Bobby Roode, Magnus, 3 former TNA World Heavyweight Champions, possibly, and Austin Aries, 4 TNA World Heavyweight Champions, probably all working for GFW, and with the return of Jeff Jarrett to TNA, there's been talk, like you said, Steven, of an invasion angle. Apparently, Dixie's been wanting to do this for a while.
Before we got to that, there's a wild card in all of that. One of the best groups that have been around in a while, the BDC, the Beatdown Clan. And they came out on top this past week on Impact Wrestling. MVP, Low Key, Kenny King, the King of the Night, and the newly minted version of Super Rex Hernandez in the BDC. They defeated the Rising, which comprised of, now sadly, Drew Galloway, the former Drew McIntyre.
The former chosen one.
Yes. Eli Drake, who I think is a phenomenal talker and a great talent that they can cultivate. and Micah, the son of Haku and the
The
former.
former Camacho of
And
WWE.
I think, I want to touch on Eli Drake really quickly. I think probably the most understated member of the Rising. I think he's one guy who didn't really get a big enough spotlight in the Rising. I'm hoping that during this breakup, a singles run that really helps him shine a little bit better is good because I've seen him in the ring, I've seen him on the mic, he's really good. Galloway has gotten a completely new lease on life. I mean, we've seen him in the Indies, we've seen him overseas doing some great stuff, and I'm liking what he's doing in TNA. I mean, I got to the opportunity to speak to him not too recently, and he said, it's Drew Galloway being able to be Drew Galloway, and I think that's one of the things that helps stars. I mean, we saw this when Nash and Hall went to WCW. When you're allowing guys to be their real life personas, it really helps. But what I love about the BDC is what MVP is really instilling in that group. It's a bit of Japanese wrestling with the mask and everything. And MVP has taken 4 guys in Kenny King, who's been very nondescript for a long while, and Hernandez, who kind of was forgotten in TNA, and really made him into household names again.
They had Homicide for a while as well.
Yes.
And one thing that you're capitalizing on that I completely like is the idea of a faction. And factions are when utilized perfectly, you can build such an epic group. You have your NWOs, your DXs, groups that will forever be ingrained in people's minds. And that's the type of thing, and you're totally pointing out, and I completely agree, I love it. You get to see other workers work with their group, and it actually makes them that much better. It propels them. And there's a lot of promising aspects with something like the Beat That Fight.
You want to talk about promising? And by the way,
I hope you're going to the right side thought. I hope you're reading my mind.
Yeah, first off, I'm just glad Homicide got off that cake, got off the top of the cage. But you want to talk about promising and factions. Here's something we haven't seen I don't think ever, in professional wrestling, at least on the major players, a faction of women in the Dollhouse.
I'll give you a tag on that.
There you go.
That's what I'm about to jump into.
I can double tag that.
You have 3 great girls, and I want to give a huge shout out to Mia Yim, who's doing a great job as Jade in TNA, and even a huger shout out to Marty Bell. I mean, being a Latino myself, and Steven, we can to see a young, passionate Dominican American female making it big in professional wrestling. I mean, Eva Lee's obviously a young Puerto Rican female making it big in Lucha Underground, but to see Marty Bell, especially from this area, from the New York City area, it's a breath of fresh air, really.
Absolutely, you couldn't have said any better himself. And I'm very excited to see these opportunities. There's so much opportunity going out there. It's great to see people taking advantage of what's there.
You can obviously tell Donald Trump is not producing the show.
I don't think Donald Trump's going to be producing anything for a while.
But I want to talk about the nucleus of that group, who I'm a huge fan of. I think she's come leaps and bounds.
Oh, yeah.
I might get heat for this, but I think she's coming along the way of almost like a Trish Stratus. She's a model type, but has no. But I'm just saying, like she
that's a stretch there.
No, I'm not saying she's at the level, but
I don't think you're
she's improved to the point that nobody thought she would. Coming from the Model S days and being the ECW GM Tiffany, where she is at now, nobody ever assumed that. She had a great match against Gail Kim about a year or 2 ago that nobody would have thought would have came out of her.
She was a hot mess.
Yeah, but she's doing a hell of a job right now as the TNA Knockouts champion. So, and putting her as the focal point of that group is showing how much they have for, how much stock they have in her.
The beauty of doing a live show in New York City, people.
Only in New York, here at the Spinny Lounge.
I think
we have an audience here, and I'm glad they're tuning in. Yes, exactly. We have a nice, loud, bustling crowd here. But getting back on track here, I'm very impressed that they gave the time. And one thing I always found TNA being, that I didn't like about TNA personally, is that they never gave time to people that weren't necessarily established. So it's nice for them to focus on a group, especially something so fresh in pro wrestling, in a women's faction.
I mean, TNA has always been at the forefront, and I can say this from day one.
Their roster was incredible. They literally has had a who's who of people throughout the 10 years.
But when it comes to their women, their knockouts division, the way they have propelled that, I mean, when you see what Hunter's doing with the women in the WWE, you can kind of see that he's almost taking a page out of the TNA book, because TNA really revolutionized women's wrestling and how it was taken legitimately, how it was done well. These women don't go out there just looking good. They are really dangerous in that ring. Tara Terrell has grown leaps and bounds. I don't know if she's going to be at Trish Stratus level. I don't know if she's there yet. I would say she's done very, very well for herself. I'm liking the way the Dollhouse is really revitalizing their main opponents in Gail Kim and in Awesome Kong.
And even Brooke.
I mean, it's good to see her back on television.
Always.
But Amazing Kong, Awesome Kong, You know, the former Karma in WWE. I mean, she obviously left WWE on some bad terms. We didn't see her for a while. She's doing very well back in TNA, back at home. Gail Kim. I mean, this is a woman who's been in the business for a while. Your first TNA Knockouts champion. And this woman, the recent promo that we saw being done, VidNet being done at Slammiversary and on Impact Wrestling, I'm liking what the Dollhouse is doing, not only for Taryn, not only for Marty and Jade, but for the entire women's division of TNA.
While we're talking about the origins of TNA, the big story, one of the big stories of the week, Jeff Jarrett returning to TNA.
I'm happy.
He became the King of the Mountain champion at Slammiversary, but now a lot of talk about his Global Force Wrestling promotion, and now a lot of contracts are expiring or people asking for their releases.
So, what's up with
what's
that?
the go? I mean, Magnus
do we think
has
there's
already
something
been,
up with that?
Magnus has already been announced to
Bobby
join
Roode.
GFW, Bobby Roode. Austin Aries, but he's a wild factor.
Yes.
And they just lost the best of 5 series to the Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards.
Very talented tag team.
Congratulations to you
Congratulations
guys
on the tag
on
team win.
becoming
Yes.
multiple time TNA tag team.
But I almost feel like they've been there for such a short amount of time. They already have, I think, 3 or 4 tag teams.
They've already been the tag team.
Yeah, and it only feels they haven't been there for that long. It's almost like I feel like they're the only legitimate tag team left in TNA almost.
At the moment,
yes.
Yeah.
But now we have a warfare possibly going on. TNA, maybe against the TNA Red, the Global Force guys?
Yeah, I mean,
what do we see happening with this whole...
I've always
'cause
been
it
a
seems-
fan.
yeah.
Like I said earlier before, you gotta stick to what, if it isn't broke, don't fix it, you know what I mean? Invasion
Right.
angles have always been very popular. ECW coming to WWE, even when the WCW was going into WWE.
The NWO invasion.
I was saying
Yeah.
NWO invasion. The invasions have always been such a popular thing in pro wrestling because so much chaos and there's so much that's unpredictable that you don't see what's coming. Even as someone who's in the business who can see what could come, just seeing it all happen, it's still chaotic and it's great TV.
Listen, I'm thinking Jeff Jarrett returning. I marked out like a kid. It's been a long
It's
time
you just
since
proved my point.
Listen, it's been a long time, and I hate to say this, that I've marked out legitimately for a TNA product. Something that's
marking out,
happened
bro.
on
He's
TNA.
marking out.
Yeah, I am marking out. Joey Ryan, please don't kill me. Joey Ryan hates marks.
Joey Ryan.
But to see Jarrett come back, to see him win it, and I'll be honest, I didn't think, everyone said, oh, he's going to win the King of the Mountain, and then he announced. I didn't think he was going to win it until you saw the way that match really started to play out. To see him win the King of the Mountain match, to see him really reestablish himself as King of the Mountain was great. But the interesting thing, Austin Aries made, Magnus confirmed, Bobby Roode confirmed. There's talk about James Storm, who recently left TNA. You're talking about 4 former TNA World Heavyweight Champions. You're talking about 2, and really if you want to count Magnus as 3 TNA originals, because Magnus really made his name in TNA.
Yes.
Being led by Jeff Jarrett, the TNA original. Can this be a TNA Originals versus new TNA roster kind of thing? It's going to be interesting what Jarrett does and how Dixie handles this.
And I got to give him credit before we get towards the end of our show here. I do have to say that it was great that it's a form of damage control. They're turning something that's real. They are, admit they lost AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. They actually have been, realistically, they have been losing a lot of talent. So I do like the fact that they're using that as an angle.
Love the Styles reference in the Jarrett promo.
Yes.
There may be talk, I mean, it's a huge rumor going around,
Right.
but there may be talk that Styles may be pulled in just for a one-off to help off Jarrett again in this whole maybe TNA original.
Maybe they'll
thing
get
with
Samoa
GFW.
Joe back.
Hey, you leave him where he is, brother.
Interesting times ahead for TNA Global Force Wrestling and for the
How long
hot
has it been
tag
since we
now.
said that?
It's been a
Interesting
long
times
time, yeah.
ahead for TNA.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, and I am very happy, despite their very historic 10-year run, over 10 years, that's what they're definitely up to at least.
Yeah.
No, 13, I
I'd say
believe.
13 years at least. You know, it's good to see them finally making that surge. And I wish it was on Spike TV, but I'm glad it's at least on Destination.
It's on a home on Destination America. We have a new home here now at H2H, Headlocks to Headline, so thank you guys for having us.
Thank you for coming.
Interesting times ahead for everybody involved, so thank you fans for tuning in. Any plugs, I mean, any comments, anything you want to see, please let us know.
Yes,
Yes.
you guys get on those interwebs, you leave those comments under those YouTubes, we will gladly get back to you. Guys, please give a special welcome. You know, I'm very happy to have Peter on staff here. It's great to have a new fresh face. I know you guys are going to appreciate it. He's a very informative guy. I'm learning stuff. I'm sure AJ's learning a lot of things. And you guys will be loving it. We have a lot of good stuff coming up.
Headlockstoheadlines.com, where you're going to find this exclusive talent, the hot tag, other exclusive talent, and products coming from these men right here. from us, from Mr. Brandon Lewis, who you see here. H2H is going to be your place for the best wrestling news.
Thank you guys for watching, and thanks to the Skinny, and we'll see you soon.